Hey guys, welcome back to the biggest agricultural platform in Namibia known as Nduna Wengombe, which means headman of cattle. My name, of course, Mitchell Mutumba Simata, aka the headman of cattle. So today, on this latest video on that show, the Induna show, which is on a serious note, I just want to talk about this Mitko situation. It keeps on getting very interesting every day. And also, someone came through the comment sections and asked me, Mitchell, does racism exist in the agricultural sector of Namibia? My answer is yes and no. Yes, it does actually. Some of the agricultural businesses, some of the agricultural companies that exist were created before Namibia got independence, meaning their outscope has always been a particular group of people. Um, there's some agricultural stores that I approached way back to ask them, listen, aren't you guys a bit interested to go up north to the northern part of the country to open up some of your stores there? And one actually just told me categorically that they're not interested. It's not within their business model. But sometimes they hide their superior mindset or their racist mindset in utilizing the term business. Because when they say business, you can't ask further questions. I remember I also bought livestock once. I took one of my clients to go buy cattle from a farmer here in the cattle country. And when I got there, the man looked at the animals, he liked what he saw, and then they were now sitting down to go through negotiations and deciding how much the animals are going to go for, etc., etc. And then the gentleman, after we were done just making negotiations on how much the animals are going to go, how many we're going to take, turns around and asks us, "Are you guys hereros?" I turn around and ask him, "Why?" "No, we are not, but why are you asking?" He says, "No, if you guys are hereros, you're not going to get any of this cattle." So it's such sublime, it's such very subtle things that you see in some of them. They still have that very superior mindset where they're better than everyone. In some of it, I've seen it even in some of the agricultural groups where I am sometimes part of, where some of them would post something, likes, comments, very positive. When someone my skin tone posts something similar in the agricultural sector, there's always this, you don't know what you're talking about, of what Kenji, of what do you know of farming? What do you know about farming? Who are you? And what do you know? What is your background? And I've always seen it, even when I've dealt with some clients, people who would buy some of my animals, very rude, by the way, and some of them, they hide it. You see, the thing is that of a person who is, let's say, a racist in a democratic country, he finds smart ways to hide it. It's like, I'm sure you've seen videos. There was a very popular video a couple of months back, or in January, or I think January or last year, December, where a restaurant in Cape Town would literally say that because of the owners have the right to decide who they serve, they're not going to allow a black person to enter their shop. So they've gotten so smart, these individuals. I'm not saying all farmers in Namibia are racist. Some of them are very kind, some of them are very nice, some of them are very inclusive, some of them are very open with the idea of, sitting down and helping previously disadvantaged group, previously black people. But many of them still have that mindset. Like I mentioned, that's a restaurant in Cape Town where they literally stopped a black guy from entering the restaurant till his white friend stood up and spoke for him. But then later on, his white friend got assaulted. I think he got beaten up and there was a case opened. I don't know how far that case went. Some of them act that way. I grew up in Punis Park, for example. Myself and some of my friends in the street, as black kids, would come together and would play soccer in the street because sometimes our yards were too small, or you didn't want to play in the yard because you risk of kicking the soccer ball and breaking a window or breaking the what do you call this, the sliding door. So we'd play in the street, in the middle of the street, safe from everybody, and not kicking the ball into people's yards, just playing there. We had this one neighbor. He would always open up his door, the gate, and he had two huge Doberman pinchers, very big dogs. He'd open up his gate for the dogs to chase us. They once chased us. We jumped over the fence. I jumped over the fence. My friends ran, and the dog was well trained. That it would chase, and when he calls it back, it would come back. So I experienced those things. Even sometimes when I go to some of their farms, when you drive up to their farms, because when I speak Afrikaans, many people have told me I sound like a white person. But when you meet this person speaking this language, it's a black Caprivian man, and you would see their tones change. So I've experienced this. Even at some farmers' days where I've gone to go attend, you would see that the room is even divided in half. You can see that this side it's black people, this side it's white people. They're not sitting together as what you'd expect, because we are all farmers probably of goats, sheep, or whatever. They're separated. And you'd see this. And sometimes now when this people are giving presentations, they give it in a language like Afrikaans, which I can't speak. Or let's say I can speak it, I can hear it, I can read it. The next person might not understand. So some of them are not trying to be inclusive. They're trying to be segregated. It's either you speak our language or to hell with you. So I have experienced it. I've seen it even in auctions where sometimes certain people's cattle would come into the crawl, the bidding would be low. But when when individuals from this other side's animals come in, suddenly the prices go up. And sometimes you'd even see some of these animals that were probably owned by a black farmer or a Damara farmer. Let's just say black, because whether Damara, Nama, or colored, we just categorize you as black, which is owned by a black farmer, would sometimes go for a cheaper price. But then his animals are better. And I've seen when auctions are sometimes put together by a consortium of black farmers, they're not well attended. But comparing it to when it's a bunch of white farmers, and when I say white, I'm not breaking them down into their various groups, I'm saying all of them, you would see that auctions are better attended. So these are the things that I have studied over the years in the agricultural sector. And some of it does come back when you read this article here that was done by the New Era, today's New Era, where you have farmers, for example, livestock farmers. And the Meatco, and it's Meatco again, which is the largest meat producing company in the country, which says a group of commercial beef producers, mainly previously advantaged farmers, are demanding that government immediately stop meddling in the affairs of the Meat Corporation of Namibia. And then there's something that was quite interesting here, which was quite interesting. This is the craziest part. The group is also hell-bent that Meatco withdraw its operation in the Northern Communal Areas, NCAs, north of the notorious Red Line, completely. Failure to heed these calls, these farmers threatened to end ties with the entity. The orders are predominantly by white commercial farmers. To Meatco are non-negotiable and were initially placed before Meatco stock breeze at a meeting last month. Meatco, which is the meat corporation company, which is the meat company for the country, which is supposed to be slaughtering and being the biggest slaughterhouse in the country, let me put it that way, is supposed to be slaughtering animals from all over the country. Doesn't matter where it is. But this group of people are saying Meatco must withdraw from the northern part of the country. They don't want Meatco to still be operating up there. It must just operate this side. Because one guy said some of their monies are being taken to run and maintain the northern communal and abattoirs. Why do I have to say such an article? It just brings back what I've always been saying. I said this on a WhatsApp group that I am on, which I created. I said this in many platforms. The meat industry in Namibia was not created for the black man. Meatco was not created for the black man. We need to understand these things and we need to make peace with it. I'm not trying to be racist here, I'm just telling you the truth. I've seen this. Because you look at that company, Meatco. It was first called SWA Meat Corporation, established in 1986 as a state organization in charge of the meat production in the country and exporting of Namibia. Then in 2001, we turned it into Meatco. So what should we have done? What should a government have done? The government of emancipation, the government of democracy. We should have left SWA Meat, whatever it was called. Leave it as is. Don't need to give it a new name and try to add certain features to it to try and make it more inclusive. No, we should have left it as it is. What we should have done, as the majority black-led country, we should have sat down and said, let us also build a meat-producing company in the northern part of the country that will really take care of the northern communal land farmers. That's where the problem comes in. We didn't do that. What we did, we wanted to go to be given seats at their table. A table where some of them don't want us. I'm not saying all of them, by the way. I have Afrikaner friends, I have German friends. But some of them don't want us there. Some of them aren't happy that we are there. Some of them are not happy to see us managing and maintaining these companies. They're not happy. But we wanted to be at their tables. We had an opportunity to sit down and say, okay, this was what was created. Let's study this thing and let's create another one that is more inclusive for all of us. Whether you are white, black, Indian, colored, whatever, you are all in. If you want to be part of this one, be part. But if you want to remain in your in your all I can put it all white club there, we'll leave you at that. We don't want to bother you. Keep your things. Let's start creating our own. We got it wrong. We got it wrong. We got it wrong in terms of we went to their companies. We took our people. They appointed some of our people to be their CEOs and sometimes managing directors, as to look there like they're inclusive. I worked for a foreign company. I worked for a foreign Asian company. Outside, we had a gentleman, a senior. I learned so much from this man when it comes to business and when it comes to how you conduct yourself in business and dress code. We had a senior there, very good. He was just a picture. I mean, he was just a. I can put him as a picture that we put out there to say this is the gentleman. But internally, the company was 100% Asian. The decision makers were 100% Asian. There were no black or even white Namibians making decisions there. It was being made by Asian bosses telling us what to do. And then this black man who worked there, senior gentleman, I shall not mention his name, was just utilized as the mouthpiece. Are we shocked? Am I shocked when I read things like this? I'm not. I'm not. I'm not shocked. Because this is what happens. It's what happens. I keep on sitting down and telling myself, come on, man, I can't take a company that was built off the backs of, for example, black people, that was probably built off the backs of exploitation. For example, I'm not saying it is what it is at Midco. I'm just saying, for example, and I expect it today to move away from being exploitative to actually being inclusive. Am I drunk? Am I not realizing what's going to happen? Am I not sitting down and saying, okay, this is what was built. Show me how you guys did it. Let me learn and let me create something. I was on a group where one gentleman said to me very blatantly, go and create your own meat market for the northern region. This is ours. We built this. He said it uncategorically and he didn't hide it. He said it straight to me on that WhatsApp group. He said, we created the Namibian meat market. Why do you people want to benefit from it? Our parents bled for it. Why don't you go create your own? Some of them have that mindset. At that time, I was a bit offended. Oh, how can you say that? You're such a racist. But once that I realized, why are we always trying to force ourselves into their things if they don't want us there? Why don't we create our own? But let me tell you the weakness of black people. We have racist white people. We move from racist white people, we move to tribalist black people. Imagine if I was made today, let's say there's a meat company in Omaheke. Maybe let's say set up by the Omaheke regional government. And they appoint me today the CEO of it. Mitchell Mutumba Simata, appointed there as the CEO of the Omaheke Meat Consortium. My fellow black people, black, the skin tone, but speak a different language and have a different tongue, will be standing on their heads. Why are they appointing a boy from the Zambezi as the CEO of the Omaheke Meat Consortium? Why are we not appointing one of ours? And why are we not appointing another Herero person? That's the first thing they'll say. Same thing if I go to the north right now, to the old regions. The old regions, let's say we create the northern, or let's say we call the Ovambuland Meat Consortium, and they appoint me as CEO. Same pressures, the people will be standing on their heads because they would say, why is this Caprivian being appointed here? Was there no Oshuambo speaking person to appoint? That is the problem also with black people. That is the problem with us as black people. We don't sit down and realize that some of these individuals, some of the white people, are well organized. This is why they were able to set up a consortium like Savannah Beef. They say it's inclusive. That's what they say. I can't really pass judgment on it. I see there's one shade of color, but I can't really pass. They say it's inclusive. They open up doors to everybody. They are able to set themselves up as white commercial farmers. Ourselves as black commercial or communal farmers, we can't even do that because we allow nitty-gritty issues. We move away from this tone. We start talking about the language we speak, the tongue. We start focusing on where we are coming from. Some of us have regional, we have issues with different regions, which is quite stupid, in my opinion, because we need to realize a company such as this, created 1986, we expected it to be democratic. We expected it to want us there. No. They created it. They established it. They built it. They created the channels and the contexts that we are benefiting out, that we are busy eating from today. Do you think that they would they would just hand it over willingly and say, okay, let's allow the northern farmers to become part of it? For years, this company, as long as I can remember, it came into the northern part a while back, but for what I can remember, this company was in the south. It was there to progress the southern farmers mid business. Some of them have become extremely wealthy, not from their own cattle. No, some of them would drive, go buy animals in communal area like Ochinene, Ochibingwe, Ochituo, Okamatapati, and then they'll bring to Mitko. What Mitko did was Mitko said, no, these people can sell directly to us. Some of them don't want that. Some of them benefited, and they benefited handsomely. Some of them used to go as far as cross over into the red line at the Himba side, which is the Kunene, and go buy cattle from the Himbas. Take them to their farm, fatten them a bit, and then take them to Mitko and get big salaries. I think Mitko's mindset was, let's cut this middleman and let's actually equally disseminate to people. But the problem we also have, this is an issue that I'd love also to bring up, is that we ourselves as black people, when we create SOEs or we inherit businesses and we inherit parastatals, we don't take care of them, we destroy them. We should start having a mindset of, let's create generational black wealth. How do I create generational black wealth? If I am today appointed the CEO of Mitco, 2023, and I am there, not counting 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, maybe I'm not reappointed. I leave. I leave after my 5 years. I should be thinking, how do I take this company that is full of this nonsense, some people that still have their segregation mindsets and so forth, how do I make it inclusive? How do I make it that this company goes and builds generational wealth for the next generation? How do I make that happen? What do I do? The problem we have, and I reiterate it, the problem we have as ourselves as black people, we need to get over the tribalism issues. We need also to understand that we need to manage and take care of things better. If some of them don't want us at their tables, let's create our own tables. But the problem is, some of us love to follow them. One gentleman, what's his name, Penwell the Black Pen, said something that really hit home when he was talking on his show, the Penwell show. He mentioned this. Why are we so hell-bent of always moving to the suburbs where white people are? Why don't we go back to our townships, the locations we are from, the townships? We improve their services. We put a fence. We make them nice, like the gated communities. Why do we have to move to them? Why don't we want to force them to move to us? So let's make where we live, Katutura or Shandubala, Vanaheda, wherever we're living, Ochomise, let's make it nice. So these people want to move to our neighborhoods. Let's build gated communities. Let's improve the services. Let's improve the security. Let's make the community nice and child-friendly. But no, we rather run away from our communities and go buy a house in Kleinvundu, or go buy a house in Penis Park, or come live in Hockland Park. That's the problem with us. We chase after these people. We run to their shops. We go complain that these people are racist. We run to their restaurant. We go complain these people are racist. We try to enter the meat industry. We complain these people are racist. Why are we not building our own? If we don't build our own, we will continuously cry and say these people don't want us at their table. Our government had an opportunity, in my opinion. Our government should have said that and say, you know what? These people don't want us in Mitco. Black people that want to set up their own slaughtering houses, we will give you some support. We'll give you some money. Set up your own and we'll give you the support we need so you can be able to compete against these fellas. But we didn't do that. What did we do? We wanted to inherit what they had, wanted to get in there, wanted to become decision makers, wanted to appoint board members and so forth, and we thought that they are going to willy-nilly just give it to us. They gave it to us when they were busy benefiting, but now they're no more eating how they used to eat. Now they're ready to fight for it. Now they're ready to fight for it. That's the sad reality. We as black people must start learning how to build our own bloody tables. Let's learn how to build our own Mitcos. Let's learn how to build our own feed making companies. Let's learn how to build our own agricultural stores. Let's learn this. If we don't learn the skills of building on our own table as time continues progressing, because let's just be honest, who owns the Namibian agricultural sector? It's southern commercial farmers. And most of the southern commercial farmers are white farmers. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm calling it as it is. they own the southern, they own the Namibian agricultural sector. If they today stop and decide, screw Namibia, we are moving to Zim, we're moving to Zambia, we're moving to Angola, we're moving to Congo, we will starve here because we rely so much from them. We're not teaching ourselves how to build the stables. So that's what I have to say. Have I experienced racism in farming? Yes, I have. I've experienced it in many subtle ways. The Midco situation is one clear example. The government should have said, we have an abattoir there in Zambezi. Let's create Zambezi Meat Consortium. Let's get it to that point where it's as competitive or even better than these guys. They set up BIFCO. By the way, Mr. Mitsige is going to invite me and I'm going to go look. They came together and they put about 1.74 million Namibian dollars to build BIFCO. Can we even do that? Can we even build our own table? I don't think so. We don't know. Like I said, we move from our townships, Ochomise, Vanaheda, Komasdal, we move to the right locations. Rather than trying to improve some of our locations in Komasdal, applying to the municipality to say, can we set up our own private security? Can we have a gate and a fence here? Can we fence off our community so we're not attacked by criminals? We don't do that. We pack up our bags, Osona, not Osona, Elisenheim, Hillsblick, all those gated communities on Schankling Vanuktu, we follow them. That's where the problem comes. That's where the problem comes. This is why many of our communal areas are undeveloped at the rate that they are. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to end up by saying, learn to build your own fucking table before we complain and start pointing and start saying these white people. Let's learn to do our own things. With that said, I just want to say bye for now.